You carry no rank on your chest, no patch on your shoulder, no unit crest on your beret. The men and women standing beside you are among the most lethal and capable human beings on the planet, and not a single one of them wears an insignia that tells you where they fall in the chain of command. But there is a chain. It's hidden, internal, and ruthlessly earned. Every rung on that invisible ladder demands something deeper, something harder, and something closer to the edge of what a person can endure. This is what it's like to be every hidden special forces rank. This video is a dramatization for entertainment and educational purposes. The details are drawn from publicly available information, declassified accounts, and the testimony of former operators. Specific unit procedures, mission details, and classified structures remain protected. Now, inside the world of Tier 1 Special Operations, conventional military rank still technically exists, but it stops mattering the way it does everywhere else. Corporals work beside majors. Sergeants challenge captains in planning sessions. What replaces traditional rank is something harder to define. A hierarchy built on competence, experience, and the trust you've earned under fire. Today, we're walking through every hidden level of that world, from the newest operator to the leader commanding all of America's most elite units. Let's begin. You're 3 weeks out of selection, and you still can't believe you made it. The attrition rate was devastating. Men who looked stronger, faster, more experienced than you dropped out or were cut. But you're here now, inside a compound most people will never know exists, assigned to a squadron, and given the title that changes everything: Operator. Some units call you an assaulter. Others simply refer to you by your first name, because in this world, formality is dead weight. HT. Your first real mission comes faster than expected. You're in the back of a blacked-out vehicle rolling through the outskirts of Erbil. The target is a mid-level facilitator linked to a network that's been moving weapons across the border. The team leader briefs the plan in a calm, measured voice. You absorb every word. When the vehicle stops, you're the second one through the door. The room is dark, cluttered, and the air smells like kerosene. You clear your corner in less than 2 seconds. The objective is secured in under 90. Back at base, no one celebrates. The debrief is clinical. What worked, what didn't, what nearly went sideways. You realize quickly that this place doesn't reward bravado. It rewards precision, consistency, and the willingness to be honest about your mistakes. You're at the bottom of the invisible ladder, but you're standing on it, and that alone puts you in a category fewer than 1% of the military will ever reach. But here's where things start to shift. 2 years in, and the unit feels like a second bloodline. You've deployed multiple times. You've operated in cities whose names you'll never be able to mention at a dinner table. And somewhere along the way, the newer guys started looking at you the way you once looked at the veterans. You're a senior operator now, and the difference isn't just time served, it's pattern recognition. On a mission deep in the Hindu Kush, your team is conducting a reconnaissance of a compound tucked into a mountain valley. The air is thin, the temperature is brutal, and comms with headquarters are intermittent at best. When the team leader asks for your read on the situation, your answer carries weight. You notice the dog that should be barking, but isn't. You flag the second-story window that's been covered from the inside. These aren't things they teach in a classroom. They come from reps, hundreds of operations that have trained your nervous system to detect what doesn't belong. You're also the one the new operators shadow now. You teach without lecturing. You correct without embarrassing. When a young assaulter freezes during a live breach, you pull him aside afterward and tell him about the time you did the exact same thing. That honesty is currency here. You've become the backbone of your team, the one who holds the standard, without ever having to announce it. Now comes the real test. The call comes at 0200, and this time, the mission is yours to lead. You're a team leader now, and the weight of that hits different when it's real. You're not just responsible for executing the plan, you built the plan. Intelligence has identified a group of hostages being held in a compound on the outskirts of Mogadishu. The window is narrow. You have 16 hours to plan, rehearse, and execute. You pull your team into the operations center and begin working through the problem. Entry points, contingencies, medical evacuation routes, rules of engagement. Every single decision you make in this room will echo when the first round is fired. And you're on the ground. The helicopter flares over the target. Your boots hit dirt. The breach goes clean, but the second room doesn't match the floor plan intelligence provided. There's a hallway that shouldn't be there. You adapt in real time, redirecting your element without missing a beat. The hostages are recovered. Your team extracts without a single casualty. But on the flight back, you don't feel triumph. You feel the weight of what could have gone wrong. That hallway, that 2-second gap where the plan didn't match reality. You replay it 100 times. This is what leadership costs at this level. Not just making the right call, but living with the margin between the right call and disaster. Your performance hasn't gone unnoticed. You're no longer thinking about one team. You're thinking about 4. As Troop Sergeant Major, you're the senior enlisted leader of an entire troop, and your scope has expanded in ways that would overwhelm most people. You're operating in a denied area deep in the Western Desert, coordinating a counter-network operation that spans 3 provinces. Your teams are spread across multiple safe houses, each running independent objectives that feed into a single operational picture, one that only you and the troop commander can see in full. One team is tracking a courier, another is setting conditions for a sensitive site exploitation, a third is running a partnered operation with local indigenous forces who trust your operators, but don't trust each other. You're managing personalities, egos, fatigue, risk, and the constant pressure from higher headquarters demanding faster results. Your role now is less about pulling triggers and more about making sure every trigger pull is the right one. You mentor team leaders who are brilliant but inexperienced. You shield your troop from bureaucratic noise so they can focus on the mission. And when something goes wrong, a compromised position, a casualty, a mission abort, you're the one who steadies the ship. The operators look to the troop commander for direction, but they look to you for composure. If you flinch, they feel it. You don't flinch. But this is where everything changes. The operations center is yours now, and every screen on that wall is your responsibility. As Operations Sergeant Major, you're the senior enlisted advisor for the entire unit's operational planning and execution. You're no longer tied to a single troop or a single theater. You're tracking simultaneous operations across continents. Tonight, there's a maritime interdiction in the South China Sea, a direct action mission in North Africa, and a long-range surveillance operation in Eastern Europe. All running concurrently, all requiring coordination, deconfliction, and real-time decision support. You sit beside the commanding officer during the nightly briefing cycle. When a team in the field requests a change to their rules of engagement, it's your experience they lean on to assess those. Risk. You've been in rooms like that target building. You've made calls under fire. That institutional memory is irreplaceable. But the hardest part of this role isn't the operations themselves. It's the people. You write letters to families. You visit wounded operators in hospitals where no one can know why they're there. You carry the cumulative weight of every mission the unit has run during your tenure, every success, and every loss. The younger operators see the title and respect it. What they don't see is the cost. After decades of proven excellence, you've earned the next step, and it's a step most operators never take. You've crossed a line from executing missions to authorizing them. As squadron commander, you're an officer entrusted with an entire squadron of Tier 1 operators, support elements, and intelligence assets. Your area of responsibility might be an entire country or a region spanning multiple nations. You're in a jungle somewhere in Southeast Asia, overseeing a sensitive operation to disrupt a transnational threat network that's been operating with impunity for years. The terrain is unforgiving. The political environment is worse. Every move your squadron makes must be coordinated not just with military leadership, but with ambassadors, station chiefs, and foreign government liaisons who may or may not want you there. You approve operations that will never appear in any official record. You make risk decisions that balance the lives of your people against strategic objectives set by leaders who will never set foot in this jungle. When a mission succeeds, the credit goes to the team. When it fails, the responsibility lands on your desk, and it should. That's what command means at this level. You've also become the gatekeeper of the unit's culture. The operators under you are exceptional. But exceptional people need exceptional leadership. Not the kind that micromanages, the kind that sets conditions and then trusts. You fight to protect your people from political interference. You push back on missions that don't make sense. And sometimes, you stand alone in that fight. The path forward demands more than you've ever given. The unit answers to you. As unit commander, you're the highest-ranking leader inside one of America's most classified special operations organizations. The men and women under your command represent the absolute pinnacle of military capability. Your morning briefing includes threat streams from every major theater on Earth. You meet regularly with the Secretary of Defense, the Director of the CIA, and the National Security Advisor. The decisions made in your office ripple across global security, but you're still a soldier. You visit the teams in their bays. You attend selection courses, not as a figurehead, but to personally assess the next generation. When you send operators into harm's way, and you do regularly, you carry every name, every face, every family. There is no separation between the strategic and the personal at this level. A colleague from your pen, Tegan Days, once asked you what keeps you up at night. You told him the truth, not the missions that went wrong, but the ones that almost did. The near misses that no one outside this building will ever know about. You've spent over 2 decades in this world, and the uniform you wear carries no unit insignia, no campaign ribbons visible to the public, and no trace of the operations that defined your career. You've become invisible at the highest level. And that invisibility is the point. There's a chair at a table inside the Pentagon where the decisions shape the world. And now, you sit in it. As a senior leader within Joint Special Operations Command, you oversee every Tier 1 unit in the United States military. Delta, DevGru, the Intelligence Support Activity, units whose names are still classified. Your authority spans the globe, and your decisions affect not just operations, but policy, doctrine, and the future architecture of special operations for decades to come. You brief the president. You testify behind closed doors on Capitol Hill. You coordinate with intelligence agencies whose relationship with the military is often complicated, and sometimes adversarial. And through all of it, you carry the lessons of every rank you've held before. The breacher's instinct, the team leader's burden, the commander's solitude. You remember what it felt like to be the new operator clearing that first room in Erbil. Heart pounding, corners sharp, trusting the person beside you with your life. That memory isn't nostalgia, it's your compass. Every policy you shape, every operation you approve, every resource you allocate, is measured against one question. Does this make the operator on the ground more effective and more likely to come home? If the answer is no, it doesn't move forward. This is the apex, the final rung of a ladder no one outside this world knows exists. You started with nothing but grit, a rucksack, and the stubborn refusal to quit. You survived a selection process designed to break you. You earned your place in a unit that doesn't officially exist, and then you climbed, not through politics or appearances, but through competence earned in the hardest classrooms on earth. Every rank you held was hidden from the public, but deeply known to the people who mattered. The operators beside you, the leaders above you, the families waiting at home. This world demands everything: your body, your mind, your relationships. Sometimes, your identity. Not everyone makes it through, not everyone comes home. But those who walk this path carry something that can never be taken. The knowledge that when the world needed someone to step into the darkness, they answered. If this deep dive into the hidden ranks of Special Forces resonated with you, subscribe for more explorations into elite military and intelligence structures. Next, we're uncovering what it takes to climb every rank. Inside the CIA's most classified paramilitary division,